Race 7, it's raining here in Victoria. Revo on pole from Cable and Oscar Folstad. Then it's Sebastian Ocampo in 4th, Jonathan Sims alongside them, Tonali Gabo, Daniel Baltasarov, Anna Babins Jr., and not Huey, Gav Sanchez, and Pablo Sierra. Santino Milan starts 12th from Tommy and Leo. Then in 15th is Jack Carter. CC starts 16th from Akari Lopez, Cosmos, Bastien Tan, Lewis Olsen, Pierre Gasly, and Miguel de Souza. Well then, we've just done the first third of the season. Dragon have a brand new livery for the rest of the season, but all 5 lights go on here in Victoria, Australia. And we go green. Pretty good start from Revo off the line. I'm not too sure if he was better than Cable, who's currently alongside him. He'll get the inside line, the man driving in the white Braun Honda, and he's still right alongside him as they come through the first chicane. No one really willing to give an inch here as they now come through turn 3. Cable takes the lead of the Victoria E-Prix ahead of Revo and Oscar Folstad, and we've got a virtual safety car, Pierre Gasly, out of the E-Prix. So while one Braun Honda driver leads the other one out of this race, and he didn't even make it through the first sector. Truly unfortunate for the Frenchman who drives the number 3. Just going to touch on Dragon. They've got themselves for this weekend and probably for the rest of the season brand new livery due to their partnership with Faraday Future ending as we now go back racing. Lap 1 of 14 still. And Folstad did get overtaken by Ocampo as we go on board with Tonali Gabo. We finally know his first name. Similar with Pablo Sierra. And finally allowed us to use their 4 names, which is interesting, but not unheard of. Gabo trying to close in on Folstad though, and he's not really close enough. Attack mode really helps going down the straight, but as it is raining quite heavily, attack mode has been deactivated. And Ocampo actually closing in on Revo quicker than Revo's trying to close in on Cable. We've seen this so many times though. Revo really good through the turns, but on the straight, you have to rely a lot more on your car than your own innate driving talent. We've had a lot of wet races this season. Miguel de Souza setting the fastest first sector of anybody, a 23.433. And Ocampo looking to try and make a move. Going down the inside, it becomes the outside on the second half of the chicane. Doesn't quite make the gains he needed to try and get much closer to the DS Automobile number 7. Revo, of course, trying to go for his 3rd title, which he missed out on last season, and this season's start hasn't been that great. Revo still yet to win a race in season 19. Fastest lap going to Oscar Folstad in 4th, a 17.316. With 11 laps left to run, still looking at the top brass. Revo's teammate Jack Carter hasn't gained or lost positions. He's still in 15th. And the championship leader, Pablo Sierra, as we go on board with the number 77, he's dropped outside of the points. He's in 12th. His teammate Santino Milan has found a position, and up into 4th went Tonali Gabo. Tommy's got himself a track limits warning. As on board with Gabo we go. Further up the road, his countryman Revo still looking for a way past Cable. He's still not close enough. The top 2, of course, not only are the top 3 all drivers champions, but the top 2 are all teammates. Time penalty given to Jack Carter for colliding with the side of Tommy as he's still trying to fight to get ahead of him. And he's still not quite close enough. Behind him, Leo trying to go around the outside of the Hong Kong man. It will become the inside through the final turn. And he does take the position. Tonali Gabo, new fastest lap, a 107.033. As we now look back to the leaders. Cable still leading from Revo and Ocampo. It's been a little bit processional this Melbourne E-Prix. Not Melbourne, Victoria. As, Ocampo gets past. I think he's using attack charge. has to be to get that much of a gain. He is dumping all of the battery he can. Meanwhile, Cable and Revo both holding on to their deploy. Sebastian Ocampo trying to bring a little bit more life to this race. He's looking to the inside line of the Season 10 champion. Two champions fighting for the lead. The gap was literally nothing. Ocampo just about edging ahead. Cable coming back at him because Ocampo used all of his battery, and Cable reclaims the race lead as Volstad and Gabo also having a good fight as virtual safety car. Oh, that's a massive shunt. Out of the race goes Tommy and Cece. Lewis Olsen trying to get himself out of there, as well as Vasky and Tan. I'm guessing 4 drivers tried to go through that turn, and of course that's never going to work out well. Virtual safety car on lap 5 of 14. That's going to allow the top brass all to get a little bit more energy to their attack charge systems to, of course, use in a similar fashion to Sebastian Ocampo. We go back racing then. And out of the top 5, Volstad has the most energy to deploy, and Revo not too far behind. And Cable has actually got a lot of energy to use. Revo using that energy. He's found his way back up into second. Can he try and take the lead? He's stopped using it, of course, trying to not dump all of the battery in the opening stages of the race. But still, Revo back up into second position. And if he wants to get himself back up into first, you'll need to do that again. As you can see now, Sierra's teammate in Santino Milan. Look at this from the number 43. He's trying to get himself higher up into the points, and he's fighting with Daniel Bogdasarov, heading into the first chicane. He's still alongside Dash Santos behind these guys. He's getting a track limits warning as Milan looks to the inside, not quite close enough to hold on to the position, and if he's not careful, Daft Sanchez is going to try and make a move. Sierra gets past Sanchez, finally back up into the points, as he now tries to get past, and does get past his teammate Milan, getting a track limits warning. A lot of weaving going on back there. Revo finally now making his move, not using attack charge, but Cable is. He's making his presence known to the British champion. One of 2 World Drivers' Champions to come from the United Kingdom, the other being Rodney Sola, who is not racing anymore. As we now look to Jonathan Sims in the number 21. He's confirmed he will not continue racing after this season. And further back, well, the gaps are absolutely massive between Cosmos and Miguel de Souza, Vasky and Tan, and Lewis Olsen. They're definitely caught up in that earlier into the half race distance. It's still raining with 7 laps to go, and it is Cable who still leads from Revo. And is that someone having issues further back? Bogdasarov drops down at 2-9. His teammate Tanali Gabo also drops a position. He's down to 5th. Ocampo gets past Revo. Does Volstad try and get past Revo? Akari's gotten himself a track limits warning. Revo drops outside of the top 3 for only a short while. Sebastian Ocampo looking to try and take the race lead, not quite able to. 4-way fight for the lead. And will Gabo try and make it a 5-way fight? Cable has led virtually every lap of this E-Prix, as that's Volstad up into 3rd position. The top 4 all comprised of World Drivers' Champions, with the other champion on the grid, Akari Lopez, down in 14th position. Where's all the vigor gone from the first few races of the season? With 6 laps to go, Volstad sets a new fastest lap of 106.650. As we go on board with the Norwegian driver in the number 1. Santino Milan gets himself a 3rd track limits warning. He's dropped all the way back to 15th. That's unbelievable. Jack Carter has found his way up into 12th. And, the midfield always has so much intrigue happening to it. But the thing is, behind 10th, you don't score points. There is no points for 11th, no points for 12th, no points for 13th, no points for not even finishing. This isn't NASCAR. As Ocampo, he's still looking. He's found his way through. He's got the inside line. Can the Philippine champion try and take the lead? He does. Sebastian Ocampo takes the lead of the Victoria Prix. But he now has 4 other drivers who are ready to try and steal it away from him. And the first one up to bat is Cable with 5 laps to go, heading into the first chicane. And he's not quite close enough. Almost a wall for the Briton. And that's allowed Falstad to get right up close and personal. Revo trying to get himself back into the fight. It has Cable going far off the road. Fun fact, out of the top 4, only Sebastian Ocampo has won a race so far this season. The rest of them are yet to win. And they're all champions in the peak of their performance. Virtual safety car and not QE out of the Prix. Oh! That's a massive shunt for the Mahindra driver. Oh dear. Another virtual safety car. This is going to be one of the more hectic races we've had in Australia. But Sebastian Ocampo now holding down the race lead. He's probably glad he's got this virtual safety car. Without it, there's been a high chance of him struggling later on. Go back racing. On board with Falstad, it's dropped away from Cable. Of course, attack charge does help to close in. It is an overtaking aid. As we now begin, 4 to go. Ocampo leading the way from Cable and Oscar Falstad, your top 3. As Babinus Jr., haven't really mentioned him too much. He's found himself into the top 5, but getting a track limits warning. Jonathan Sims trying to get himself into this fight. Do I hear a 7-way fight for the lead? The top 7, all within 2 seconds of each other. Meanwhile, Bastien Tan and Lewis Olsen both into the pits. And is that problems for Tenali Gabo? Tenali Gabo's got a puncture. Revo's got himself a track limits warning. Olsen and Bastien Tan going on to softs. Santino Milan gets a time penalty. Gabo's been hit. And unfortunate for him, it's dry now. Lots of weaving from Tenali Gabo. I cannot believe what I have just seen, but it has happened. That's Gabo's day pretty much done and dusted at this point. Thankfully, Milan not hitting him again, but into the pits come the top brass. Babinus Jr. has found his way up into 4th, and Revo has dropped down to 5th. He was using attack mode. But as he headed into the pits, he's going on to medium tyres, so he will definitely be able to make it to the end of the race. And virtual safety car, Cosmos out of the race. Santino Milan also out. What has happened? Down out that right-hander. Neither Mahindra will score points. This is going to be massive in terms of the Constructors' title fight. Out of the pits comes Revo, and he's behind Pablo Sierra. We're under full course yellow. And speaking of yellow, Revo, Leo, and Cable seemingly the only drivers to use the yellow wall tyres. As Bastien Tan going past Tenali Gabo, into the wall goes Gabo. Lots of damage for him. It was a front puncture for him, and lots of wear for his inters as well, as he now makes his way into the pit box. Just about. But now Sebastian Ocampo and Oscar Falstad, they'll be able to fight for the lead a lot more now. They'll get attack mode starting this lap. And Revo, I don't think this is to do with DS Automobiles' pit stops. I think this is more on where their pit is placed. And Tenali came out on hard tyres. His race is done. I'm sorry. I don't see that Renault driver scoring points today. But here comes Seb Ocampo to the race lead. Sebastian Ocampo's taking the lead. Going down the straight. Attack mode. Certainly helping the Philippine man take the lead there. But Cable now right on his tail. He'll be He will be eager to press the button for attack charge. He will be eager to use the combination attack charge and attack mode. Of course, he's not on the faster medium tires, but he will be able to go a lot longer. Vasti and Tan, new fastest lap of 105.683. But U-Cable, he's all up in the back of the Andretti driver in front of him. Getting the slipstream, but is he close enough to try and even think about making the pass? And I don't think he is. He's going to have to wait for the main straight to try and make an overtake. And just keeping my eyes on the timing tower, not only is Gabo a minute off the race lead, but Revo is just holding on to 7th. He's not doing much else. Attack mode active for both U-Cable and Oscar Folstad. Folstad, new fastest lap, 104.5. Sierra resets it and U-Cable. He thought there was an opportunity there. He's going to get another chance into turn 3 where he made the pass with the lead on lap 1. He does it again on lap 13. U-Cable reclaims the race lead as we go on board. Oh, force almost off the track there as U-Cable drops back to 2nd position. And Ocampo fighting back against the Brit. And for Sebastian Ocampo, considering his recent form, I think this is him saying, I'm going for my 2nd championship. He wants to be a double champion. And if he keeps up these performances, he very might well do. Oscar Folstad going onto the podium for McLaren GTR. That would be very helpful in their battle to not be lost at this point, because there's been no luck for the orange team, the Papaya Machines, as we now go on to the last lap of the Prix. U-Cable going in way too deep, going through the chicane. But now into turn 3. On the first lap, he tried to make a move here, and he can't do the same thing on the last lap. If he went too deep, Folstad might have actually done something there. Speaking of Oscar Folstad, goes round the outside of U-Cable, far off the track, just about keeping it out of the wall. Ocampo still leading this race. Folstad and U-Cable side by side. Revo, we're getting a track limits warning. Sierra's found his way up into 4th. Akari gets a track limits warning. Down the inside, not quite for Folstad. This one might go down to the last turn between Ocampo, Folstad and U-Cable. Down the inside goes the Norwegian, the reigning drivers' champion, up into 2nd position. But for the season 14 champion, he's not faced such adversity. For the 2nd time this season, Sebastian Ocampo comes home and will win the Victoria Prix from Oscar Folstad and U-Cable. Pablo Sierra takes the fastest lap in 4th position. Babinas Jr. steals it away from the Nissan man. And that's quite the finish. Quite the finish indeed. The top 3 separated by a second. Still not as close as Oslo. Almost thought Gabo got another puncture. In any case, that would have been horrible. But one more lap would have seen the hard tyres and the medium tyres come alive compared to everyone else who went on softs. But that's not what happened for these drivers. And this is the podium then. Sebastian Ocampo wins in Victoria from Oscar Folstad and U-Cable, the top 3. And quite the top 3 indeed. I don't think many would have expected this heading into this race. Then it's Pablo Sierra, Daniel Bogdasarov, Jonathan Sims, Paul Sitter Revo, and Arnett Babinas Jr. Then it's Daf Sanchez and Leo rounding up the top 10. Outside of it, you've got Akari Lopez, Jack Carter, Miguel de Souza, Vastien Tan, Lewis Olsen, and Tenali Gabo, with Cosmos, Santino Milan, Anok Curie, CC, Tommy, and Pierre Gasly being your non-finishers. In the driver's standings, Pablo Sierra leads the way from Sebastian Ocampo and Daniel Bogdasarov. Then it's Akari Lopez, Jonathan Sims, Santino Milan, Revo, CC, Anok Curie, and U-Cable. Then it's Miguel de Souza, Oscar Folstad, Tenali Gabo, Leo, Arne Babinas Jr., Pierre Gasly, Tommy, Lewis Olsen, Jack Carter, Cosmos, Bastian Tan, and Daf Sanchez. In the constructors' standings, heading into the next race, Nissan Nismo lead the way from Renault Edams. It's tied with Sims Motorsport Nissan. Then it's Andretti Honda tied with Aurelio Pinnacle. DS Automobiles 1 point ahead of Braun Honda GP. Then it's Dragon Renault, DS Venturi Formula E Team, Aurelio Mahindra, and 7 points back is DS McLaren TGR. We'll see you guys next time then when the Formula E Monopoly Championship returns.